Voters in the Central African Republic are also going to the polls today. They're casting ballots for president and for lawmakers at all levels. The country is still recovering from conflict, civil wars, and military coups. At one point over the years, more than a fifth of the population fled their homes. Today, the Central African Republic remains one of the world's poorest nations. Incumbent President Faustin-Archange Touadéra has pledged to restore order. After altering the constitution, he's seeking a third term. Some opposition parties are boycotting the vote.
Clear jubilation on show in Bangui, a celebration of the launch of the electoral battle. Voting at levels in the Central African Republic. Municipal, regional, legislative, and the big prize of the presidency. The elections are a major challenge for the country, still plagued by instability.
I would ask you to take a look at the situation in 2016 when I took office. There was no state authority throughout the country. Here in Bangui, there were only internally displaced people around the airport, in mosques, in churches, in schools. What's the situation today, 10 years on? We see a country that is gradually recovering, that is raising its head. Because, you see, some time ago, the press was talking about the Central African Republic as a failed state, as a country on the brink of genocide.
But President Touadéra is up against opposition. Foremost among his opponents is Anissé Georges Dologele. Dologele had to give up his French passport as the Central African Constitution doesn't allow candidates with dual nationality to run for the office of the president. Why did you relinquish your French nationality? Is it a thirst for power or what? If you lose these elections, would you regret having relinquished your French nationality?
No, because I am going to win these elections. I renounced my French nationality to run against the incumbent president. Do you see the difficulty? It means that I love my country. It means that I want to save my country. I'm giving up something that brings me nothing but advantages in order to face difficulties.
As the various candidates jockey for position, it is the people of the Central African Republic who have the final say when they cast their votes.
I already have my voter card, which I will use to vote for the person who will bring us peace.
It's our duty to take precautions to vote in order to have peace and democracy in our country and to prove to the world that we are ready to accept democracy. It's a civic duty for all Central Africans to participate in these elections.
With questions hanging over the outcome of the election, such as poverty, lack of opportunity, and insecurity, the opposition may yet be in with a chance.
For more on this, I'd like to welcome Beverly Ochieng. She is a senior analyst at Control Risks and joins us from Dakar. Beverly, it's good to see you. We heard from the main opposition candidate in our report and the sitting president, of course, who changed the constitution to run again. Has the election campaign been free and fair?
I mean, to be fair, they've been the two most visible candidates over this campaigning period, officially for the last 2 weeks, but non-officially. For instance, Touadéra has been campaigning ever since he declared his third mandate earlier this year. So it's given him a bit more headway, and he is the clear front runner. Changing the constitution is obviously one strategy of ensuring that he does consolidate power, but he does have at the back of this a mandate of the last 10 years of trying to push for peace across the country, whether through peace agreements with various rebel groups or even with work with the paramilitaries. But the two are using interesting strategies. They are trying to consolidate marginalized communities. Touadéra was near the border with South Sudan, DR Congo, and Sudan, which is a tri-border, volatile region. And he was there to demonstrate that the government will be present there. Same thing with Dologele. He has been targeting communities that are marginalized both in Bangui, in other inner cities within the country. It'd be a fiercely contested race, of course, given that this is the third time for Dologele. There's the opposition fallout, but there are also concerns that the campaigns and the election and the presidency has been personalized around Touadéra.
One of the things that Touadéra has been saying of the campaign trail is that the country is gradually recovering. Have you seen progress in the country in terms of stability and security?
Well, if you compare with 10 years ago, at the point when Touadéra and various other candidates were seeking election, state presence was very minimal outside of Bangui. And there has been various progress, even though there have been various setbacks alongside that. So the 2019 peace deal was one way of bringing in the various factions of rebel groups from the former Balaka, Seleka alliances that have been behind chronic conflict within the country. But then there's still holdout groups that are operating, whether it's the eastern region, if you're looking at the Ani Pimbe, which emerged out of a need to protect themselves from activities of rebel groups. In the far north region of Vakanga, you still have the CPC coalition, which was behind the insurrection in 2020, trying to prevent Touadéra's second-term bid at the time. You have the UPC, which despite signing peace agreements, the government very recently, still very active in Ouaka, and various other factions of the CPC, whether it's in the east and the north. And those peace agreements are likely to collapse if the government does not consolidate inclusion with these rebel groups.
The Central African Republic is one of the world's poorest countries. Is the economy the main issue for voters?
It's security, which is also tied to economic opportunities, with the activities of rebel groups undermining whether it's farming activities in rural areas, the mining areas, especially given the fact that they have been tied either between rebel groups or paramilitaries from the Wagner Group, which then means that local communities cannot benefit. It's not possible to really professionalize or industrialize the sector for it to actually make an impact in terms of providing direct and indirect opportunities. So without that consolidated security efforts, without inclusion, it will be difficult for there to be much economic gain. But the government of Touadéra has been trying to reach out to more commercial entities. There's a Canadian company that signed a mining agreement recently. They are trying to welcome more stakeholders in the region, and they are also trying to consolidate ground in order to ensure that those activities are secured and people do feel a sense that their economic livelihoods are protected by the government.
As ever, our thanks to Beverly Ochieng, analyst from Dakar.